Witches are we, witches are we, witches are we on a Wednesday.
I love that. I love that. That just tickles my funny bone. That does.
Tickles your fancy. Oh.
No, it's brilliant.
Oh dear, I'm another year older since we last chatted.
How did that happen? Goodness me.
I don't know. There's been an awful lot of them happening.
Well, yes. People keep getting older. It's very annoying.
I know. Well, the thing is, it does it. Insides don't get any older. It's the outsides that tell the truth.
Indeed.
Yeah, exactly. But it's a good time was that all. So that's that. And so we've had a busy couple of weeks, haven't we? Both of us, I think.
Yes, because that's why you weren't on last week, because that was your birthday evening.
It was my birthday, actual birthday day. And so we were Sundays. So yeah, busy having fun, as a matter of fact. And eating anemic oven chips.
That's never a good thing. I can't think of a universe where that works.
That's a reluctant brother. That's what that is.
Okay.
So yes, a reluctant brother who was we coerced him into putting garlic mushrooms back in the oven, because they definitely were anemic and falling apart. But as for the chips, no, wasn't having any of it. So anemic chips it was.
Wow.
But it was nice. It was nice, regardless, because I decided it was going to be. So anyway, so we have Hannah in. Hello, you.
Hello.
And anyone that's not brave enough to say hello to you too. We've got Red Wing in. Hello.
Hello.
And I hope you're well. So are you well, Heather? Are you faring well?
I am. Many people I know are not that well, but I'm okay, and it's probably just as well at the moment because it's been busy.
Yeah, definitely.
But yes, there's been a lot going on in the world, and I'm just trying to spread myself about a bit where needed, and be useful. Because if I was in the same position as some people, I would hope that could happen too.
Yeah,
so
exactly. Yeah. We've got Tony in. Hi, Tony. Hello today.
Oh,
hello. Oh, yes. People turning up. So we've had Ostara. Should we talk about that first of all?
You've had a what is?
Ostara.
Oh, Ostara. Sorry, it's a little glitchy. I don't know if that's me or at your end, but every now and again it just kind of does that delay thing. Ostara, yes. The spring equinox.
Yes. Oh, you can't beat the spring equinox. I love it, actually. Actually, I like all of our little salads and things. I think they're wonderful, but I particularly like this one. And it's in years gone by, it was always the one that I tended to not forget about exactly, but know that it was coming, and suddenly, whoa, here it is. Well, there it was. What happened there? And I found myself in the garden. Oh, what date is it? Oh, yeah.
That'll be why. Manic gardening time.
Yeah, yes. Exactly. And yes, I've been going bonkers, actually. I've been doing some extreme gardening, you could say, with chainsaws and such.
Oh, that is extreme gardening.
Well, I've been down the woods anyway.
That's always a good thing.
So I've been down the woods, wanted to see how that storm had affected the woods. You know, that storm we had at the end of sort of the tail end of February.
Did anything come down?
So one of the big trees that was half down already has come fully down, which wasn't a surprise. And actually, I'm quite glad because it's easier to reach and chop up now, so that's handy. Hence the change. And lost 3 medium trees and, a handful of smaller ones too. So, it's a bit disappointing. And one of my big trees in the fairy ring has been struck by lightning.
Wow. Okay.
And to say that the fairies are upset, an understatement.
Oops. Yeah.
Yeah. Peed off they are. So it's all a bit strange down there. It's got very, very sort of strange energy down there at the moment. It's really peculiar. And where the tree was hit by lightning, it's sort of, splintered loads of branches off. One of which was an absolute whopper. and it had kind of buried itself in the ground really deeply. I know where it sort of landed, doof, down into the ground. And it's like, oh, what's the matter with that bit there? And it actually looks like a tree, like a planted tree, because how it had landed. It was really strange, and it's like, oh, it's not attached. Oh, it belonged to that.
Right.
And it was an absolute whopper. One of those really big lime trees that I've got up there, and it's completely blasted. So there's a few other trees up there have been hit by lightning too. So it's all a bit of a mess, really. So there was many hours spent sorting stuff out, lumping stuff around, and making plenty of noise with chainsaws and things until the chainsaw couldn't cope with it anymore and died a death. And it's like, I'll go home and charge it and sort it all out and come back another day, which is exactly what I'm going to do.
At least you got over there to take care of it, but yes, funny energies and pissed off fairies.
No, don't want cheesed off fairies. They it's funny really, because I don't think they're going to be malevolent, but they're just, I don't know, it's just not right over there. So there's some journeys that I think I need to make and find out what the places they need, because they need pacifying. You don't want to cheese off fairies, they get very, very upset.
No, you don't want to get on the wrong side of the fray.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, we've got a new person, Acasta Jinx.
Hello. I love the name.
It's an excellent name, isn't it? Yeah, virtual hug back. Hello. And we've been doing a tweak boundary, as Hannah says. We've been doing a tweak boundary. So that boundary that I've had that had barbed wire, and I hate barbed wire, horrible, nasty stuff.
Yeah, it's horrible.
And that had come down, so it was touching the floor, and again, iron on the floor and all that. And we sort of made the decision that it might be better, rather than trying to re-erect it and just leave it as it is, to make one of those sort of twig boundaries with all those, the really long spindly trees that I have.
That
like
you can do that with.
Yeah, exactly. And they're about 30 foot tall, but they're only sort of, I don't know, not much thicker than a 50p piece, really. But they're perfect for that, because then, and there's a lot of dead ones around that I can take out. And it's perfect because then you sort of just lay them, and it's almost like building a dam almost.
It's more of a natural boundary, and I think
natural boundary. Yeah,
I'm sure the Fae would be more happy with that than the metal boundary.
Exactly, and also it means that although the boundary is still in place, it means that it's a home for various insects and animals and all that kind of stuff too, which is better than the standing deadwood that I'm busy trying to clear as much as possible. So so it's a bit of a work in progress. I didn't have my heart in my mouth when I first turned up there, because I thought my treehouse tree had come down. I really thought my treehouse tree had come down. It wasn't. It was an optical illusion. But oh God, my heart jumped. It really did.
Oh no!
So that would have been very unfunny, and I think I might have shed a tear or two, or 20, or 20,000.
Many after all that work and input. Yeah, that would have been gutting. Yeah,
it really would. Anyway, it seems to be standing. It's not faring very well, and it needs an awful lot of TLC. But we're going to throw some TLC at it and see if we can sort that out too. So.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be getting some attention this year, so the whole space and place will be very much.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think we're working parties down there to come give us a hand, because there's a lot of work to be done. So so that was that, and of course, sort of my little bit of garden. Been out sitting and supping, coughing my garden, and that's been lovely. Watching the noddy daffodils and the buzzy bees and all that kind of stuff. And
there's some enormous bumbles around at the moment, and I mean I love it. I was having a bit of a conversation with some birds at the bottom of the garden, as it were, because they were tweeting away, so I made a noise back, and then we kind of had this toing and froing. It's really funny. I just sort of made a little, when every time they tweeted, I sort of played back to them.
Yeah.
Oh, it's really funny. That's a strange conversation going on. Then a cat appeared, and the conversation was done.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Cut.
Well, I always think even if you talk to them, you don't know exactly what you're saying. Your intention is good. And I always have a conversation with my crows down at the garage, or garages now, as it is. And I go down there, and they don't make much of a noise when I arrive, and they're all busy rebuilding their nests and sorting out, where they're going to go. And then I took my husband came with me one day to help me unload, because I was taking a load of stuff down, and I really appreciated his help, because it's hard work.
Yeah.
And they made such a noise, and I said, it's only because they don't know you.
Yes.
He looked at me like I was mad. He knows me now.
Should do after all these years.
Yes. So my crows weren't too chuffed, but they soon shut up and realised that he was part of the furniture.
Yeah, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. Actually, I've been out gardening today here, and that's really nice. And it's sort of moving things about and repotted. Was it a lavender, wasn't it? We repotted today, so we repotted a lavender, so that was really nice. And moved rosemary bushes around back to where they're supposed to be. So the patio's been laid, so yeah, moved rosemary bushes back where they're supposed to be, and sort of put various ornaments and things back in their rightful places, and it was just lovely actually. And it was such a warm, sunny day. It's
but all's right with the world when you sit out with the coffee in the morning, because I've got my little sunspot where I can do exactly the same. And you get a cat come up to you and go, "Oh, you're outside."
Yes, go you. Yeah.
And then we had the people turn up who were painting the hallway, so the cats just scarper from the house, and it's all really weird having people in your house. It's a bit odd.
Yeah.
It's going to be the sunniest yellow you have ever seen. It'll make you smile when you see my hallway. Very like egg yolk. It's really. But you might as well go for it.
Exactly. Colour. Yeah. Well, you're going to be waking you up, isn't it? I had a yellow kitchen for a while. That was quite nice, actually.
It's nice in a hallway because you don't actually sit in a hallway. So if it's a bit overstimulating, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You kind of pass through, and I don't know. You can't not smile when you see a nice shade of yellow.
Yeah, I was like that with my kitchen. I didn't have it all that long. It got changed, as things often did. But yeah, I had yellow for a while. That was quite nice and jolly and sunny and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah. I'm quite looking forward to it being finished because it's only about halfway through at the moment.
Yeah.
So it's all a bit chaotic here.
Oh, we've got Dawn Cherry Pauline. Hello. Good morning.
Cherry.
Good evening to everyone else.
Morning. It's morning. I still find that odd to get my head around that. But
it is bizarre. You do get used to it after a bit. Yeah.
Yes. Well, yeah, you will.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So as Hannah says, lots of coffee, a new table to boot. Yeah, I found a new table in the garage, so that's quite out there. And yeah, there was the tiniest little bees. They were like baby bees that came and inspected the rosemary flowers that have been out for quite some time, haven't they? And it was lovely. Actually, these little tiny bees, and the big fat buzzy ones came along. It was lovely. And we have some
the ones that you hear coming from the other end are going, they really shouldn't be able to keep up there. It's like, come on. Yeah, I love them.
Oh, I love them too. But down at the woods, I have the hummingbird hawk bee or whatever it's called. I can never quite get the name right. Hummingbird. It's something like the hummingbird bee or something like that. And they're absolutely huge, but they look like hummingbirds, and they sound like hummingbirds, and they react and fly like hummingbirds. But they're actually bees, and we have them. They're not that common. But I have them down at the wood, and they are beautiful. You know when one of them's turning up, and they're right for you in the middle of your face.
I'd love to see one. I don't think I've ever seen one of those.
Yeah.
We've got the bambles.
I hadn't seen one before until I bought the wood. So it's only been 5-6 years, and I was like, "What the hell is that?"
B-52 flying into land.
God, massive! I felt like I should sort of like be doing semaphore or something. Anyway,
guiding it into land.
So yeah, but it was. So that was a definite Google, see what else it was. And as I said, and I found out that it was this thing I can never remember the name of. Hummingbird comes into it somewhere. Yeah, but they are like
probably the sound, I would imagine.
Yeah, and they fly like hummingbirds. They sort of have that whole thing where they can sort of move and sort of like
a hovery thing.
Yeah, but they're bees.
Fascinating. I shall look those up after.
Yeah, they're amazing things, beautiful.
The best delight is the enormous, and we have many of them, enormous magnolia trees around here. They clearly like our soil, and they have all come out all at the same time.
Yeah,
these trees look just weighted down with blossom. It's amazing, absolutely stunning. And we're going to get plums this year as well, because we've got plum blossom coming out. So
yeah, I've got blossom on my plum tree too. That means, and there's not much of it actually flowering at the moment. Most of it's still in bud.
Yeah, it's starting.
Woken up by the bees in the morning. I was, when I moved there, expected to be woken up by the birds, but in actual fact, I was woken up by the bees, which is a very strange phenomenon because there's so many of them. 4 million flowers, 2 million bees. That's an awful lot. So
well, there you go.
noisy they are. Of course, it's right outside my bedroom window, so it's lovely. Noisy, but nice. There's worse things to be woken up to. So,
oh yeah, it's a lovely sound.
Yeah, definitely. But as I say, the first couple of times it happened, I was like, whatever's that? What is it?
Yeah. What's going on? I've been invaded.
I've been invaded. A quick peek through the curtain. Oh.
But the birds are so loud at the moment. The birds are incredibly loud.
Yeah, they really are.
We find that because they've started, we had all our roof done, as regular viewers will know. But of course, we keep finding little bits of the fluff in the insulation. So clearly they can get in there. And I'm quite glad, actually, they can get in there again.
Yeah, no, it's nice, actually, isn't it? Yeah, having a few lodgers. Yeah,
indeed.
That's quite nice. It is nice.
Wait for the jackdaws to start up because they're quite noisy, and they live in we've got a chimney that isn't, it's not attached to a proper working fireplace or anything. And, people say, oh, you could take that down. No, it's the jackdaw's home.
Yeah, exactly. Leave it. Yeah.
Leave them alone. Yeah. Except when they wander on our flat roof, they do sound like they've got hobnail boots on.
Yeah, you can hear them
dancing. It's quite hilarious.
So Tony says, oh, you've got woodland. I'm so jealous. I love the woods. Yeah, and that's why I bought it. So it's not very big. It's only just over an acre. So it's big enough to enjoy, but it's not so big that I can't cope with it or manage it. And I've had it for about 6 years, and I absolutely love it. And it was funny, really. Again, regular viewers will know the story, but it's funny, really. It was one of those things that absolutely had to be. So I've been looking for about 15 or 20 years to buy a piece of woodland, and have been on various specialist websites and specialist companies that deal in woodland estate. And nothing had come up that was suitable at all. It was either a long distance away, or places that were maybe a bit more suitable wasn't easy to access from, once you'd arrived there, you sort of had to leave the car and then traipse through 10 other lots of woodland in order to access your bit. And it was really strange, out of the blue, from a single independent estate agent that I'd never heard of in my life, sent me an email randomly and said, we've got this woodland. It was really bizarre, really random. I'd never heard of them. They were in a town that I don't frequent. They were nothing to do with these other companies that I'd been in touch with. So why I suddenly got this email, I don't know. And I got the email about 10 to 9. It was weird, wasn't it? And I got the email about 10 to 9, and I had to wait until 9 o'clock to phone them. And they said, oh, yes, it's at this place, take a trip down there. I was there by about 9:15. And at 9:20, I made the decision I was buying it and putting an offer in. So, yeah, it was all very, very quick. It's mine. Where do I sign on the dotted line?
Exactly. It felt like home.
It did, yeah. Mind you, I had to sort of back my way in through the brambles. Do you remember all the brambles? They really got you.
Yeah. Gosh, the early days, it really was. You could barely get in. There was just that little track you could kind of...
yeah, exactly. You needed a machete and kind of right through.
Very much so.
But yeah, no, it's nice. I've sort of got it opened up now with the brambles are kind of tamed into various, little quadrants and stuff. So it's much, much better.
Yeah, it's more usable space.
But it's, much more usable space. But, the idea originally was that I'd have, sort of rituals and workshops and things down there. And, at some point in time, I also still hope to do that. It just hasn't happened yet. But I've got a tree house down there. And we've got a big ritual coming up this year, though. Haven't we?
We have.
I can't wait. More about that to come.
Steady now.
I know. I shall talk more about that nearer the time. That's all good. Can't wait.
Well, Tony wants to come live in a tent in your woods.
It's a bit lumpy, Tony. But I dare say you could come for a sleepover and a fire. That would be nice. Maybe you could do that instead. That'd be nice. Oh dear. So yes, it's been a bit of a strange couple of weeks, actually. I had a very strange experience actually on my birthday, basically I was driving back from my brother's, who lives down at Littlehampton on the south coast. So I was busy driving back from there, and obviously I was with Hannah, and as we were driving through, there was this place that we ended up driving through that sparked off really bad feelings for Hannah. It was like, oh. And it was nothing that we could put our finger on. It was, I've been through this particular route dozens of times before. Yeah, dozens, hundreds of times before.
Yeah.
And I don't think you've been that way before, had you? I don't think so. And so yeah, but you know, they weren't able to put their finger on, you know, what is the feeling, you know, why is it like this? Strange. And actually, having got home and through discussion, we ended up having this kind of oh, it was really strange. So I was picking up on what she was feeling and actually able to analyze what it was and then kind of go from there. And then other stuff was coming up as well. So it was sort of this sort of weird psychic stuff that was coming up. First of all, from past life stuff. And then secondly, that then brought up stuff from this life, but it was me that was picking up stuff and saying, I'm getting these images. They meant nothing to me, in the same way that when I do crystal ball, I get video clips and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
Same kind of idea. So I'm getting the psychic stuff and saying, well, what about that? And she's going, oh my God, that's this. And it all came up as a result of that. It was really bizarre. And it just triggered this thing off. It was really strange. And that was a good 8-hour conversation, which basically took us from 1 o'clock in the morning till about 9 o'clock in the morning.
Another one of those evenings.
Oh, one of those evenings, yeah. But sometimes you just got to deal with something at the time rather than parking it and going back to it, because, you know, you don't always get those opportunities to be able to access that part of your brain when that's happening. In the same way that, you know, when you have a dream, you can't just always think to yourself, oh, well, actually, I'll try and dream about that on Saturday because it's not convenient now.
Yeah, just doesn't always work. Oh, hello, Jennifer. By the way.
Hello. So yeah, so that was absolutely fascinating, and the stuff that was coming up meant nothing to me, and it was more sort of symbolic, but you know, but it was like, you know, sort of pictures of certain stuff, and it's like, so what's this? But it was just that, you know, that sort of trigger thing that was necessary to go, oh, actually, that's this. It was amazing, as I say. So yeah, 8 hours to go through. So yeah, the day after my birthday,
Quite a journey.
It was quite a journey, yeah. So there's been a lot of journey work actually, but it's been interesting. And there was some interesting journey work happened last week too, and that was interesting in that again, Hannah was doing this like journey, just like disappeared off while having some treatment at the hospital. And you know, as a way of sort of keeping calm, kind of, you know, sort of took herself off on a little journey. But what was interesting about that was that she was talking through the journey as it was happening, but then it became kind of like a guided journey, even though it wasn't premeditated, if you like. Dig deeper. What's under here? What's this? What's this? And that ended up being a two-way thing as well. And that was interesting because I've not worked like that before. You know, I've done guided meditations, guided journeys, guided visualizations, all that kind of stuff, both giving and receiving, but not when someone's chosen to do their own thing and you're then kind of interfering, essentially.
Yeah, but you're working with them.
Working with, yeah. I like to
and because you're coming into a different perspective, it means that you're participating, but just helping that person make sense of it as they go through.
Yeah, exactly. And
very interesting way to work, but you can only do it with someone you've got that connection with, really.
Yeah, exactly. But it was fascinating. So don't you like the word interfering for that then?
It seems a little strong to say interfering.
Nosy Parker, you know me.
Meddling about.
Meddling, yes, meddling. Well, let's go with meddling rather than interfering.
Yeah, meddling sounds better.
Oh dear.
Yeah, it's funny. You get totally different ways of working. You never know everything or have tried every way of doing something.
And I think it's fascinating when you find a different way of doing something that you've done before, or you know, sort of a new slant on something. And I absolutely love that. I really, really do. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You do have to be open to the fact that even if you've done something a certain way for many years, that it will often come completely out of the blue when you're not trying or making an effort, when you literally just let something happen.
Exactly, yeah. And that's what it was like with the you know, with these, you know, with this like psychic stuff that was coming on the night of my birthday. And it, you know, I wasn't asking for it, it was just these images, you know, and it's like, and what about this? And what about that? Okay, I've got a picture of so and so. What is that? What is that? Because it's not for me, this is for you. And it was weird how I knew it wasn't for me, that it was for Hans. It was really strange. So yeah, it was interesting to say the least. So yeah. So what have we got here? Oh yes, and bluebell. Yeah, that's the nice thing as well. So you know how my bluebell, how my woods were kind of bereft of bluebells. I've
They were
actually
in
got,
the beginning.
yeah, they were, and I've got a handful of them that are trying very, very hard to grow.
Oh,
So that's really nice. So I love bluebells, and it's so strange because all the other bits of woodland around my little plot, they've all got, you know, they've got a little carpet of bluebells, haven't they? And yet mine just don't. I've got a very
that or
unique.
wild garlic.
Yeah, yeah. But I've got a very unique piece there, haven't I? It's a bit of an anomaly, really.
It's very different.
It is, very definitely. So, yeah. What else have we got here? Yeah, definitely. It was one of those evenings. What time is it? Yeah, it's just like suddenly it's like, well, that's that then. What time is it? 8 o'clock in the morning. What? Oh, God.
What happened there?
So, yeah. So, yeah, it's rather strange. Interfering. It was amazing, really interesting. Yes, it was amazing magic. Yes, it was. Yeah, just everything that was given in the journey work was important. Yeah, and the trees and the plants. That's true. So in the journey work, you know, it was very specific. Trees and plants. Obviously, we sort of looked up properties of the trees that were given and the plants that were given, and you know that kind of thing. And there was a definite element of all of the seasons, and that was an interesting thing because the different plants showed themselves in different seasons, or trees I should say, showed themselves in different seasons in this vision. It was interesting. It's like, okay, well that's this and that means that and that means so and that means something different to what you might expect because you'd normally work with blossom, but then you might work with berries and all the other way around and things like that. And that actually was interesting in its own right too. So yeah, so it's been full on as usual.
Well, wouldn't expect anything less.
It's funny, really. It's sort of like, you know, a fortnight goes by and it's like, what magic have we done? Have we actually done anything? It's like, no, a day doesn't go by without doing something. And then you sort of, well, that, and there was that. Oh yeah, we did that, and we did that, and we did that, and we did that. Because there literally isn't days that go by without doing anything. You know, whether it's, you know, stuff like that, or whether it's, you know, sort of intentional stuff for other people, or whatever, and that makes it just.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I used to think I wasn't doing anything magical, but I kind of think it can't help but be magical because that's the life we live, and I think it's noticing what's around you rather than being tunnel visioned. It's being receptive to the stuff of nature, you know, and all the little signals that you can.
And also it's, you know, it's that situation of like, you know, that's not right, don't like that, going to change that. And it's not the sort of thing that you can change in a mundane way. That stuff you change in a magical way, and it's those kind of things. Well, they might only be small bits, but it's like, no, that's not right. I need to tweak it. So you use a little bit of magic to tweak stuff, don't you? And that's basically what you do. So yeah, it's all good. Yeah, every day, 24/7. That's not really. And even when you're asleep, carries on.
Actually, I've certainly come to the realization that, I mean, I've had some very odd dreams of late, but I certainly have come to the realization that an awful lot of the work and processing and magical stuff goes on, not just when I'm half awake, half asleep, but actually when I'm sleeping as well.
Yeah, it
dreaming,
does,
certainly.
Yeah. Just drop. It really doesn't come to that conclusion as well. Oh, yeah, so as Hans pointed out, so when I was coming back from visiting my old lady, on the night of the full moon, which was an absolute beauty this year, wasn't it?
Amazing.
Wow. Oh, God, it was just lovely. I mean, you know, you couldn't ask for more on a solstice moon, could you? Not solstice moon, like equinox moon. It was just beautiful. It really was. Yeah. And as I turned into my little driveway, there were 2 deer in front of me, big ones. And of course, that driveway is about 300 yards long, I think. And they both ran in front of me, in front of the car, for about 50 yards. And then one of them that was on the right sort of paired off to the right and disappeared. So I disappeared through a hedge. And then the other one was for about another 50 yards or so. Was also just running in front of me. Then he kind of ran along that grass verge bit. And then he sort of got his head through the hedge, and then sort of like stayed there for a bit because his shoulders were a bit like, and then off he went. And he went through. So, yeah, so that was lovely on the, you know, on the full moon to have these 2 deer. It was literally like being escorted home by these deer. It was beautiful. And I'd just seen a bunny just before that too. Sort of turned in. I was like, oh, bunny, deer.
Oh dear.
Oh dear. So yeah, but it was lovely. It was almost like being, because obviously I'm driving very, very slowly, and they're kind of just trotting in front of me. It was almost like being in a carriage that was pulled by them. Almost.
Oh.
Not quite, but almost. It's lovely.
Yeah.
It really was.
Lovely
really
thing.
special. Really special. So yeah. Not everyone gets that treatment, you know.
Yeah, indeed.
So yeah, no, that definitely was magical. I enjoyed that very much. It was lovely. Tony says, don't know why, but the only time I feel at peace is when I'm surrounded by trees. It feels like they re-energize me. And that is not just you. That is an actual scientific phenomenon.
Phenomenon. Anyway, but yes, it is absolutely a proven thing.
It really is. And, you know, it's got a new name, isn't it? Was it like forest bathing or some such?
Forest bathing, yes.
Forest bathing, I think, is the new age word for it.
It's
or
the
is it
Japanese
the
version, isn't it?
Word? Oh, no, it's the mindfulness for it now, isn't it? I think we call it tree hugging.
Pretty much, yeah. and that thing of sitting with your back to it, as Hansa said, it's just amazing. You can almost feel the energy moving, because literally the sap is rising, so you will actually feel physical.
Yeah, definitely. It's amazing. But you know, we went on that talk, didn't we, a couple of years ago? Do you remember, by that monk?
Yes, David, yes, he was amazing. Yes,
he was an amazing chap, wasn't he? And the talk that we had was amazing. And it was interesting. I like hearing science finally caught up with
what we know.
What people have known for years. Science finally goes, well, actually, what we found out and proved is so and so. We're like, yeah, we know.
Yeah, about time. Yeah,
about time. And but that was an interesting talk, and it was the trees. We communicate with the trees, not in all right, but you actually do communicate with. Is it the theta waves from the brain? It's the theta waves, isn't it?
The very deepest and slowest, yes.
And yes, they communicate with you. They communicate with each other, and they communicate with other, with other entities and bodies too. And it's interesting because finally science has proven it, and obviously, we've been saying the same thing for donkey's years. And so, it was a fascinating talk, though, wasn't it? It really was. And there's us sort of sitting in the middle of this pine forest, looking about, going, right,
all right, mate. Very good. Carry on.
So it was lovely, and what better place to have a talk on trees communicating with you than in the middle of a pine forest, from a monk.
Well, yes, which was a
very
surprise.
Interesting monk, actually. He's a really nice chap, actually, isn't he?
Very unusual. Yes.
Yeah, he's an unusual monk, I have to say. But that was really interesting, and they kind of talked about how you have this communication thing with animals. Like dogs will know when you're coming home, and it's not that they've got a built-in clock, it's because they've got this sense, so that if you are 20 minutes late, the built-in clock would trigger them thinking, they're normally home at 6 o'clock. The built-in clock would trigger them going bonkers that you're coming home at 6, but they'll know that you're going to be late because they can sense where you are and that you know what you're doing, and that you turn up at 20 past 6 and then they go bonkers. Same thing. Cats do that and so on. And the trees know too, all of that kind of stuff. And of course they all talk to each other, and their kind of interweb is the mushroom fungus thing, isn't it?
It's the mycelium web. Yes.
The mycelium web, absolutely. Yeah, not the World Wide Web, the mycelium web. So it's all absolutely fascinating stuff. Do you remember when I did that dragon ritual in the woods? Not my woods.
How could I forget?
The woods. That was jolly good, wasn't it? And you're connected to that beautiful mossy tree. Do you remember?
That was lovely. Yeah.
Lots of people said that they felt the connection with because you had your feet on the tree trunk, didn't you?
That's right. You were lying with the back and then legs up the tree.
That's right. Yeah. And
that
was nice, and you managed to get a really good connection there. And of course, the idea of that was that the place that we did the ritual was not the place where the dragons have been sighted. It was about, as the crow flies, probably 1/2 or 3/4 of a mile away. But again, because there's this, this sort of interlinking thing under the ground, the idea was that we'd brought the energy from that place that we'd been to before and brought it to that place where that specific tree was, and then utilised that tree with using the energy from the other place. So that was really nice too. Yeah, mushrooms have the closest thing to our DNA. Says Hannah. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. What we got here? So Tony says he gets called a tree hugger a lot. Yeah. And he misses visiting now. He doesn't have transport. Yeah. But even little trees in towns, they're worth going.
Any tree will do.
Any tree will do. Yeah. You can literally connect with any, even if they're not all that big. You can go and have a chat. You really can. Go and have a chat. Hello, how are you? How you do? Oh, not all that great today, aren't you? Well, what's this? And off we go. So, yeah. Oh, that must have been good. So, Anne says about collecting fresh copal pine sap. Oh, I bet that was a good day. What? We have life here. I don't know what that's about. What are you doing? What is that? There it is. Is that it? Yep. Oh, wow.
That's the copal, is it?
Look. Oh, wrong way.
Oh, wow.
That. So is that on stone?
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing stuff. Oh, wrong way. Look at that.
So that's basically the same stuff that amber ends up being made of.
Yeah.
I would imagine, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. How cool is that? I've not seen that before. Wow. Amazing stuff. Is amber specifically from pine trees?
It's a resin, so I think it's those sort of trees that produce resin. I don't think ordinary trees do.
Yeah. That's really cool. So there you go. Look, keep going the wrong way.
That's it. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So there you go. Wow. Thank you. That's really cool.
Baby amber. Yeah.
That's cool.
I knew they were connected because I know from my sort of jewellery kind of, when I had my head on for that sort of thing, people talk about stuff being made from copal as well as amber. So it's less pressed or aged, but it is the basic same stuff. Yeah, baby amber. I like that. I like that idea.
Oh yeah, I like that idea. Baby amber. Yeah. Oh, that's really cool. Dragon ritual, it was awesome, Becky. Got so much from that. Just such a wonderful, powerful ritual. Thank you. You are welcome. We all had fun actually doing that. Yeah, it was good.
We did.
Yeah, and somebody saw a dragon, didn't they? She's not here today, but I know she did see a dragon. And in fact, we saw evidence of one a few weeks earlier, actually in the spot, which is up. But yeah, definitely. Not as old, baby Amber, aka Copal. Yeah, cool. No, it's good. I'm trying to think what else I've been up to, really.
We've definitely been having that kind of spring cleaning, kind of sorting out.
Yeah.
I did a very big sort out with a friend who needed to sort out an awful lot of personal belongings, and we had literally a whole day of doing it. And it kind of started a process because, of course, once I'd helped her with hers, I thought, well, I really ought to do mine because that's so much easier. And I usually sort my wardrobe, twice a year when I'm switching from my summer black to winter black or vice versa. Things that go into both. But it's a lovely feeling. I am trying to sort and clear a lot of stuff because I feel I need to, on a practical level doing it, but it clears the decks for the magical stuff. And I know this year coming is going to be very busy on many levels. Yeah. So I need to get sorted now so that I haven't got the stuff hanging about and getting on my nerves.
Yeah. I'm kind of trying to do that, but it's not going terribly well. I mean, to be fair, I get excited if I can manage to throw a jam jar away. So,
well, yes.
Actually, I've done quite well. I've thrown a couple of jam jars away. I mean, literally, not thrown away, recycled. There's been a couple of things that I've sort of put out in the recycling and then got back out again because I couldn't quite bear to part about it too much. But even if I put 3 things in and only get 1 thing out, that's still 2 things down, so it's not bad.
Well, it's
work in progress though. But yeah, I'm getting there. We'll get there. Yeah. Needs must.
It was things like clothes and stuff, that I just thought need to be moving things on. There's that energy is. I always get very swept up in that kind of energy at this time of year, and it's gardening, getting the garden sorted, planting new things. It's a whole energy surge that I really plug into. Yeah.
No, it's nice, and of course with the full moon that we've had as well, which was so glorious, absolutely beautiful. And it was really, I noticed particularly this time, excuse me, I noticed just how detailed it was. You could really, it was obviously very, very clear where I was watching it from. And, you could really see the detail to it, because sometimes it's just plain bright, isn't it? And
you need a clear
night. Yeah, and debris floating about, and it's not just about clouds; it's about other stuff that gets in the way, isn't it?
Oh, anything atmospheric in the way, yeah.
But I noticed just how clear it was, and how you could really sort of see all the definition in it, and that was just beautiful. It really was.
Yeah, all the individual craters.
Yes, I know, it was lovely. It really was. Yeah. Oh, I do enjoy the moon, but I like it when you can, especially obviously where I am, I've got no street lights or anything, and it's just lovely. It's just this silver light over everything.
I love it when you go in the back garden. It really is like there's a great big light on, and because it always comes through the trees, especially early in the evening. I love that. It is like you're bathing in the moonlight. Really, it's a moonlight bathe.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, I know.
When I stay out there long enough to really feel that I've had a good bathe in it before I come in.
Yeah, no, it's gorgeous, isn't it? I just love it. I do. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. What have you got? Yeah. So, what else have you been up to? I'm trying to think what else I've been up to. It seems it's been a long time, and of course that's the trouble, isn't it? When like we were saying before, when you do lots and lots of stuff,
and then you can't think of what was.
Yeah, because it's tends to be less of a standalone thing. Obviously made birthday wishes with my birthday candles.
Yes.
Wouldn't it? Didn't nearly set fire to my brother's kitchen though. There was an awful lot of candles on it.
That might have cooked the chips better.
Yes, it might have done.
Just hold your chip over a flame.
Fire over the cake, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Not quite sure why he was so reluctant to put them back in the oven, but he wasn't having any of it.
Well, you see, the thing is, people get used to the fact that chips take 10 minutes, but that's when you've got portion for one. When you're trying to cook for a number of people, it always takes longer.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
No amount of denial will enhance that.
We did manage to get him to put them in for another 5 minutes, I think it was, but that just wasn't enough. And another 5 minutes wasn't going to happen. But we did manage to persuade him to put the mushrooms in because he really, really hates mushrooms, so he wasn't planning on eating them anyway. So that was all right.
But you want them to be edible and not frozen in the middle.
Exactly. Yeah. Or just plain floppy. Nobody wants a floppy, soggy, breaded mushroom because they're just not good.
That's not a good textural experience, is it? Really?
And then you leave half the breadcrumb in your mayonnaise. Not good.
Well, the joys of cooking, you see.
The joys of cooking. Well, the idea was originally that we were going to go out and have something to eat. But I hadn't seen him for such a long time. It's like, let's just stay put and, go and get some stuff from Morrison's. And that's exactly what we did. So we went trundling. Oh, the supermarkets are available. We went trundling off to the supermarket. So we went trundling on to the supermarket and, that'll do, shove it in the oven, and out they came, anemic.
Anemic
chips. Yeah. Well, there you go. It did its best. It's all right. But I had a nice time anyway, despite the anemic chips. So, yeah. Mind you, that was that day, if you remember, we had that. It wasn't a storm, but we had a big cloudburst last Wednesday. Did you have a big cloudburst last Wednesday? It was just wall rain, up and down.
It might have been Wednesday. I do remember that there seems to be a lot of rain before we finally hit this rather lovely patch of nice weather.
Yeah. Oh God, it was dreadful.
Yeah.
So that was the day, and it's like, oh well, not going anywhere anyway. So like just stay and listen to some tunes at my brother's, which is what I did, and it was brilliant. So yeah, but what was nice was that on Saturday I met up with my daughter and her 3 kids, and we went off and had a meal, and it was interesting. We went to a Lebanese restaurant actually, which I hadn't been to before, and we arrived a little bit before my daughter and her kids, and obviously there was that whole like, oh, have we booked? No. Oh, can you hang around outside for a minute or two while we get a table ready? No problem there. And actually the weather was so gorgeous on Saturday that she came out to where we were sitting outside, and she said, do you actually want to eat out here? I'm like, yeah, that'd be nice. So we did.
Wow.
Yeah, so we sat outside. So yeah, sat outside and watched the world go by for a couple of hours and ate lots of Lebanese food, which was scrum.
Sounds like fun. Sounds like a nice experience.
Yeah, it was actually. It was really good. So yeah.
I do like watching the world go by though. That's definitely a hobby of mine.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? Just sit there and just pass the time. And there was an inordinate amount of I Spy though. There really was. Because that's what you do when they're 7 and 5. I Spy a lot of it.
Yeah.
But entertaining it was.
Cutting down to the perch anyway.
Actually, they were really good. I can't fault them at all. They were really, really good. But no, it was good. Then we did the whole charity shop run afterwards.
Any good finds?
No. Did we find anything?
Pink tutu.
Yeah, we did find a pink tutu, but I couldn't persuade anyone to buy it.
They have a limited range of use, I think.
Yeah, it would have fitted perfectly, wouldn't it? Anyway, it wasn't to be, so that was that. But no, actually, it was no, nothing particularly interesting, and their prices were more than a little ambitious, I have to say.
They have got that way lately. I know this isn't the usual forum for discussing such things, but they have got very ambitious.
There was a really thin silver bangle that was all blackened and needed a jolly good polish in one of them, and they wanted 40 quid. Yeah, that's what we went out. Yeah.
That'll still be there then.
Yeah.
If they said 4 quid, you would have thought,
maybe 10 quid. No, probably not. £40, and it was really thin, and it was black. It needed a good polish.
Somebody needs a lesson in the art of what things should charge.
Yeah, 40 quid. I couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it.
Nick.
Yeah, I know. So there you go. So yes, bit of a shock really, but there you go.
Yeah. Well, boot fair season is starting up again soon, so there'll be an opportunity to hunt for many things, both jewel-like and magical, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely. I haven't been to a car boot sale for a while. So obviously I did a couple of car boot sales last year, but haven't been to one, as in on the rummage. I haven't been to one for a bit. So yeah, I'm kind of chomping at the bit to be able to get to go back. So
yeah, they're all starting up around here again. It's like if the weather sort of is half decent, it won't be a quagmire, which will be an added bonus, really.
Well, it'll be nice, and you won't have to go in galoshes. Yeah, that'd be...
Indeed. But I do find the process of sort of allowing myself to find things is also quite magical. You have to put yourself in the right frame of mind of it would be lovely to find something, but it doesn't matter if I don't. You have to
exactly. Yeah.
If you go in thinking I've got to find something decent, you will never do it.
No, definitely. Although sometimes you know, I'll go with the viewpoint of either car boot or charity shop or whatever it is. I need this.
Oh yeah, if you need a specific, I'll put it out there in the universe of, well,
exactly.
I really would like to find myself a pair of jeans that actually fit me, because that is a quest for my life which never changes. It continually rolls on.
Yes.
Exactly.
But yeah, so I need so and so, and then, oh, look at that, there you go. So yeah, so that works a treat as well.
Yeah, a little bit of intention there, but it's the need that creates the problem, the attachment to result.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh yes, I forget about my birthday donut in the morning. I got a birthday donut with a candle in it, and on your birthday you're allowed to eat donuts for breakfast. Did you know that?
I don't see why that should just be for birthdays. If someone gave me a donut, especially one of those nice ones with the raspberry jam in the middle from Greg's that are really rather lovely, I'd be hard pressed to say no.
Yeah, well, I was very hard pressed to say no, and I ate it.
You didn't.
So there. And it had a candle in it. But yeah, it was a bit of a, as Han says, it was a bit of a flamethrower a bit later on, wasn't it? Definitely. Awful. Oh, Heather, you've frozen in a very, very strange pose. Are you still frozen? Can you see what Heather's frozen?
No, not yet.
Oh, Heather, what are you doing? I can't see a thing. Yeah. You just got a very, very strange pose. I don't know whether you disappeared. I don't know whether you can hear me, love, but I think you're stuck. That's not the most flattering of face, to be honest. Oh, well, I'll just go through this then while you're unsticking yourself. So it was Queen Becky having celebrations for my birthday. Oh, she's gone. Oh, bless her, she's gone. Oh dear. Well, Tony's disappearing, so cheerio, Tony. And as we've lost Heather, I suppose I ought to say cheerio, toodle pip, and I'll see you next week. Oh, jumble sales. Yes, we're going to have to fix that, Anna. Definitely. So I shall see you next week. Heather will, well, pick herself up off the floor and sort herself out, no doubt. Heather, she's gone. And yes, I shall see you all next week. I will do the awkward wave that normally Heather does. Have a good witchy week. Do lots of magic. We'll see you soon. Cheerio.